Magic Makers. I'm Virella.
I'm Yukita Cosplay.
And I'm CJ Peterson. Welcome to Magic Making Mischief. Get your wands to the ready because we solemnly swear we're up to no good. And speaking of up to no good today, we have special author today with us, Melissa Algood. Welcome, Melissa.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Today we are not ignoring you. We are being pre-recorded.
Yes, indeed.
So we're not ignoring you at all. But we have special guest with us today. She is a sci-fi author, a thriller author, and a horror author. So she's multi-genre.
Ooh,
Fellow author and a fellow multi-genre author with us. I am super excited. So tell us about your books, young lady. Let's start there.
Quite a variety too.
I do. I've published 12 books, 2 different series. One is my Greater Good romantic thriller series. Think Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Okay.
And then I have the Enhanced Beings series, which I call Stranger Things, but they're all in their 20s and everyone has superpowers.
Stranger Things.
Yeah, and that's set in Baltimore and in 2020. So it's like I reimagined 2020 and made it slightly better. But and then I have several horror anthologies, including Everyone's Dead and Everyone Dies, which are all pretty extreme horror. But then I have a young adult horror anthology called Death by 21 Midnights. And that is actually inspired by Taylor Swift's Midnights album. I listened to each track on the album and wrote a horror story to accompany it. And
That's
it is
great.
Yeah, and it is definitely approved for 14 and above. So younger audiences and Swifties of all ages that can read my horror collection. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Swifty horror sounds like the perfect little Swifty Halloween book thing.
Right. So
Yeah, it's actually the poster right behind me with the CD that's covered in blood. That's the cover.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
So are we talking like murder mystery kind of theme to it, or is there more like from the darker side of it?
So each anthology that I do, each story is completely different and in a completely new world. So it's more like Black Mirror. So for instance, in Everyone Dies and Everyone's Dead, they're technically, I call them evil twin sisters, but none of the stories correlate and you can read one independently of the other and in any order you want. But yeah, there's zombies and ghosts and deadly dinners and deadly animals. But then in Death by 21 Midnights, there is like a scary elevator ride and there are deadly plants and some teenagers that make some bad decisions behind the wheel kind of thing. So, but yeah, there's no PG rating on it. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing
Gotcha.
insane going on there. It's just a little spooky. So, yeah, but then if you want to go extra horror and really get scared, then my other series will definitely be for you. But yeah, all of them you can read independently. I guess in Death by 21 Midnights, some of the stories are connected, but I'll let the reader decide which stories are connected. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
So
nice.
your own risk type deal.
Yes, definitely. The Everyone Dies and Everyone Dead and Everyone is Dead anthologies, but yeah.
Well, I've learned not to trust authors with anybody. Don't get attached because you never know. It's usually your favorite that goes.
Yeah, she's read my books. My books are kind of known as, like Michael Weatherly used to say, NCIS is no character is safe. She's to read my books and that's the way they roll.
Yeah. Whenever the first time she says, well, tell me what you think, because I was like, oh my goodness, I was surprised by your book. And my husband goes, don't tell her what you really think. And she goes, no, really, tell me. I'm like, are you sure? And I was like, how could you? And then it comes out the later ones. I'm like, how could you kill this character? What are you thinking?
Wow. Like, yeah. And she goes, do you drink tea with Satan? And I'm like, no problem.
Wow. I hadn't heard that
plotting this somewhere in the Buzz Highlands, like twirl.
He's over here, handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
You can't trust author friends. That's cool though. I love the story.
You just did that. I'm like, don't even tell me. I know exactly where you are. It's all good.
I am a huge fan of paranormal though, so you got me there, Melissa, on that one. I'm excited.
Oh, sweet. Good.
Honestly,
Yeah.
same. I love parent. Like, there's this author that's also an influencer, Selena Spooky Boo. She goes by
Yes.
Selena
Yes. I love
Myers.
her. Yeah.
Clandestine House. Oh my gosh, I could not put that book down. I could
haven't read
not.
that one yet.
Mhm.
It jerked at my heart, and I was like, oh my goodness, because I gotta know. Yeah, Clandestine House. That was a good one.
Nice.
Yeah, that is a good one. I do like that author and influencer. She's cool.
I
Same.
love books that you can't predict.
Mm-hmm. That's what that was.
Yeah, that's
100%.
hard to come by for me. Like I even like mysteries because I try to get ones that'll fool me, and I'm like, man, I've already figured it out. So I love when I can't predict the ending or they shock me, and I'm just like, unless they cheat. Some people, I'm sorry. I think some authors go, well, I didn't tell you half this information, so now I'm going to throw it in at the end. It's like, no, that's not how that works. You don't get to surprise me by saying I changed the entire book at the end. That doesn't count.
Do
But
not
like, I
pull
love
a
to be
Twilight
surprised.
and do a plot twist. Do not pull a Twilight.
Oh my
Don't do
goodness.
it.
No Renesmee's allowed. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yes, Stephanie Meyer. Don't do that again.
All those Team Jacobs were just like, no, what is this?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
That's not okay.
I am Team Jacob, and I stand by it.
Yeah.
My daughter was very mad. She was young at the time, but she was just like, no, I'm not okay with this.
The very end made me very much like, why am I even into this? I'm done. Goodbye. I'm all done.
Aw, I can't completely break from it, but okay. So here is a question that this is a CJ question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So when you come to writing, do you plan it out ahead of time and have the whole thing like Harry Potter, where you know from beginning to end of the whole thing, or do you kind of let the characters write their own story as you go?
AKA, are you a planner? Are you a pantser? Or
Pantser.
Nice.
I'm kind of in between. My type A, I'm very type A. I really want to be a planner, but usually once I get in there, the characters tell me otherwise. And I do go to a critique circle. It's bi-monthly, and it's virtual now. But I've been going with some of these authors on and off since I was 27, and I'm 41 now. So
awesome.
We've really seen each other blossom, and they also will poke at me and prod me at places where they're like, we know you could do better. And honestly, they've definitely had some times where they've given me ideas, and I'm like, okay, I hated the idea I had, but I love the idea you have. So, but yeah, I definitely usually have an ending and know where it's kind of going. It's just kind of hard to figure out where it is. Because, for instance, the book I'm working on now, it's called Teenage Death Trap, and it's about it's my first full-length horror novel, and it's about a teenage girl that has these predictions of death, but no one believes her. She's like cursed.
Oh man.
Yeah. And she is a teenager, so it is very lightly tread, so to speak, because I don't want it to be too much, but it is kind of a lot. There's a lot of death that she sees.
Dang.
So yeah. So
not enough being a teenager.
I know. It's kind of like when I was writing it, I was like, gosh, I'm torturing this poor teenage girl. But I wrote this book originally maybe 5 years ago, and I wrote like a good third of it, and I knew how it was going to end, but I didn't know how I'd get there, and I was like, this is garbage. So I deleted it.
Oh,
and then after I finished my second series, the Enhanced Being series, the Stranger Things thing, I went back to Teenage Death Trap, and then I rewrote it, and I kind of figured out where I was going. And then the characters really started speaking to me. And then I was like, oh, finally, I know where this is going. I know what is happening now. But at this point, I've been working on this book on and off for like 5-6 years. So it's what the kids call a situationship I have with this book that I need it to end. I need to complete this novel and send it to my editor. I've already started prepaying her just to be like, this is going to be a big book, so please be prepared. But yeah.
Oh my goodness. What is the longest book you've ever written?
The longest book that's twofold. I wrote a book back in 2020 that I don't know if I'll ever publish because it was just kind of getting out everything. getting out all my emotions at the time. And that was definitely my longest book I've ever written. But I think it was more for me. It's like one of those things where you write a letter and you throw it in a drawer, burn it or whatever. But the longest book I've ever published is The Girl with the Mean Punch, which was the third book in the trilogy of the Enhanced Being series. And that was a little over 400 pages.
Wow.
But that series is a multi-POV. I think in that book alone, there's 17 POV changes.
Wow.
I travel through time in that book. We go in people's memories in that book. You know, it's a lot that happens in that book. So, but
on your website, it
yes.
mentions that you are an award-winning author. So,
Yes.
What awards?
What award is it? And tell us a little more.
So I've won several awards for my short fiction predominantly. There is a story called Hair Dyeing that I won a short story prize for. And I am a hairdresser in the real world. That's how I make a living.
Oh, cool.
And then one day I decided to write a short story about what might happen if hairdressers get pushed too far, we'll say. And so it won a horror prize. And then also there was a flash fiction piece I wrote called Thomas, which I think is also in Everyone Dies. And that's probably one of my favorite pieces I've ever read. It's a very short piece. It's only about 750 words, but it's about my hypothetical son. And I'm imagining him in this flash fiction piece, and that got awarded as well. And then basically my short fiction, I've never entered a novel. I have entered in my covers because I think my cover artist is amazing. But maybe I'm just not. I'm really bad at filling out all the stuff for the awards and putting in the links correctly. And also, when I first started writing, I was very interested in the awards and getting all that. So with my short fiction, I kind of found a niche in that. But now at this point, I just do it. I write so selfishly. I really write it for myself. I'm so overjoyed that anyone reads it. And like you ladies brought me here to talk about my writing. I'm so blessed. But to be frank, I really just write it for it's such a selfish endeavor at this point. I really just write it for myself, and I just get tickled when anyone enjoys it. So, but yeah.
So what's your next project that you have in mind?
So, I am finishing Teenage Death Trap. I'm like 3/4 of the way done. I have quite a bit of it plotted out, but I gotta make it cohesive and make it sing. And I don't ever release anything into the world unless my peer group has gone over it. Basically my critique circle. Because they've been very honest with me, and they've been like, no, this is which sometimes I need.
Yeah, my editor is that way too. She like looks over my shoulder and is like, no, why are you doing that? Don't
exactly. Yeah, what's happening here? Yeah.
I'd rather she did that than a reviewer did that. So I'm all,
yeah.
It's really nice to bounce ideas off people too, though. Like I can't ever just put something out there without having somebody that I bounce my ideas off of, honestly. So I get that.
Yeah. And also I feel like, especially because a lot of the people in the group are older than me, like I'm as old, I could be like their child, because one of them, I think I'm only a month older than his daughter. But I've been with them basically my whole writing career. So they've definitely seen me blossomed. And I've seen them change. And also it's kind of interesting. We've worked together so long. There's maybe about 13 of us in the group, and we kind of go ebb and flow in and out over the past, 15 years. Mm-hmm. But we also kind of, like one of the guys in the group is now writing a sci-fi novel. And he's like, I would never think to write this, but Mel, you just wrote so much sci-fi, fantasy, paranormal stuff. It just got me thinking. And vice versa. Some of them are like, oh, now I kind of edged up the horror, or there's a little bit more bloodshed because I read Mel's stuff and I'm very known for my bloodshed, especially in my group. But all fictitious, of course, all fictitious. But yeah, so Teenage Death Trap is what I'm working on now. I'm hoping to have that out next year, early next year, maybe by this winter, but I don't want to force anything because, again, this is going to be my biggest book. It's probably going to be close to 500 pages.
Nice.
Because it goes from 1991 all the way to 2020. So it's a
Big jump.
yeah. And then I also started in the very early planning stages of a book that's going to be like the Hunger Games, but intergalactic. And the characters choose to essentially be on these Hunger Games, but it's essentially 750 years after Earth was demolished because we ruined it because of pollution. And the few humans that were brought into the galaxy were only allowed to come if they agreed to be part of this reality television show where they, basically gladiators. So I very, very early plotting stages of that. It's mostly in my head. I wrote maybe 10,000 words to a first draft, but very, very early on. Like I'm just figuring out the names of the characters and what planets they're from and all that kind of stuff. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
So a lot of times authors put, a part of themselves into them. Is there any one character that's the most like you?
I would kind of say, even though I write some really evil characters, I'd kind of say a little bit of every character has a little bit of me in it. I will say I have a propensity to write strong female leads that sometimes might have a guy that's trying to kind of overpower them, or the relationship maybe is trying to overpower them. But in a very general sense, I have them kind of be like, forget you, dude. I'm going to take care of business right now. So that does tend to be, I guess maybe the person I wish I was, that I could just go and kick some butt physically and also just emotionally, I suppose. But one thing I've noticed is I do always have a redhead in all of my books. And I do say that tends to be my favorite character. It's not always the lead, but it was after my third or fourth book, my editor was like, you realize that there's always a redhead. And I brought that up to my critique circle, and they were like, we thought you were doing that on purpose. We didn't even bring it up. We literally thought that was just your thing. So yeah, there always tends to be a redhead. But yeah, and I'm a big fan of Tori Amos, so maybe that's it. But yeah, I'd have to say a little bit of me and everybody.
Mm-hmm. But is there one that's like the most like you? Like I know in most of my books, there's a little bit of me in all of them, but like Katie McKenna in my Crazy Story series is the one that is like the most like me. That I can tell you.
I will say, when people who know me really well, when they read one of the first book I wrote, the first series, the Greater Good series, there's Samantha Locke, and she is this bloodthirsty assassin. And when people read her, they're like, she is you. She speaks like you. She acts like you. I wrote the book when I was 25, and the character is 25 at the time. I'm 41 now, so now I feel a little distant from her. But I will say, definitely when people read that character, they were like, this is definitely you. Like, maybe see your therapist. Like, this is, yeah. Because that character is.
That was me. Yeah.
Yes, the character is unhinged. Maybe seek someone. But she is that ultimate, she gives the essence of femme fatale, but she will murder you. So that's, yeah.
So she's like the shadow side of you if you let that side out.
Exactly. She is, yes. The, vengeance first and never, no worries ever kind of thing. Yeah.
Nice. So, yeah. Part of us goes into, we kind of just bleed onto the page. That's what we do.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with that. I mean, I guess I did write a young adult novel that was based on one of my clients from years ago. He was a teenage boy, and I told him it was very early in my hairdressing career too. And I told him to read The Fault in Our Stars, and he came back and he's like, Miss Mel, I'm so upset with you because no one's ever going to love me like that. He's like, Hazel loved Gus so much, and no one will ever love me like that. And I said, first off, you're 13, so let's take a deep breath here. And I told him, I was like, you will find that love, and you will love someone like that one day, and they will love you back like that. That will happen one day, And he said, oh, and he knew I wrote stories. And he's like, oh, could you write me a story of a girl that loves science and loves ballet, and she likes nerds? And I was like, sure, whatever, kid. And that ended up being a full-length novel. And I did name the character after him, Blake. And so that novel is the closest to me because it is based off a real interaction I had with a real person. And it's also so different from everything else because There's no violence. There's definitely nothing above kissing. You know, it's very, very G. And it's a beautiful coming of age tale. So I'd have to say, yeah, even though the characters aren't me, I feel like whenever someone's like, what's your favorite book that you wrote? I always say Everything That Counts about Blake Morgan. Yeah.
So if you had wanted to give advice for somebody who wanted to maybe either A, start writing, and then B, who wanted to write like sci-fi and or horror. So it's like two-folded question. What would you give them?
So I would definitely say read a lot in the genre. Definitely see what else is out there, see what other people do. I'm not saying like read their book and copy it. I'm just saying figure out different styles, figure out how to world build by reading other books and seeing, and then you'll find out, oh, I loved what this author did. I didn't care for what this author did, maybe. I think I read a lot, and I think that that's imperative. And I also think writing just to get it out, the first draft, that's just something that no one sees. That's something you delete. That's something you don't need to worry about. You just need to get it out there and to just keep doing it and kind of almost treat it as a job in some sort of way. I like to spend at least half an hour editing or typing or something every day on my books or on my writing or doing something to that effect. And I think that's really important. Not just the creative endeavor and all the artsy stuff, but actually physically getting down and forcing yourself to plot out your worlds, to think also, if you're going in the horror realm, do you want to go real slashery? Do you want to keep it a little bit more like Jaws, where you're hiding the horror in a way? So there's so many different avenues you could go. And I think practicing, AKA just sitting at the keyboard and typing, and also reading and seeing what's out there and meeting new types of authors and figuring out all sorts of different writing styles. It's just a big world out there.
Yeah, the author world is vast. The more you network, the more that you meet, the more styles that you can see and acquire, the better off you'll be.
Do you have a favorite author that you feel like kind of inspired you to write in the beginning?
Oh, I've always been writing little stories and I've always kind of liked it. I really did love the poet E.E. Cummings. He's really a visual poet. You really have to visualize his poems. I also really like Sylvia Plath, which kind of explains a lot about my characters and their morbid tendencies, maybe. But yeah, as far as like in the genre of what I like to, I don't know, I really loved, and now of course I can't remember the author's name, but it's 2001: A Space Odyssey. I love that. But yeah, I just read so many different books, and it's hard to kind of pinpoint a favorite author, but I love Leah Bordogo. I know that. She wrote Ninth House and Six of Crows, which is a phenomenal book, and Crooked Kingdom. Yeah.
Sir Arthur C. Clarke.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
I was like, literally, I'm going to be screaming when I hear this. You didn't remember.
I know. You said the name, and I'm like, oh, I know that one. And I can't think of it either now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, poof, no.
Yeah.
So when was your first book published?
I'm sorry?
When was your first book published?
Oh, my first book was published in, it was 11 years ago. So, oh my God.
So doing the math, right?
Yeah.
We're bad at math.
Yeah. It was 2000, because is it 26 now? So It was 2015. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that tracks. Yeah, that does track. 2015. Yeah. I will say my first book ever was published by a publisher, but then I went and I'm too type A. I'm too much of a control freak. So then the first book that I published was Everything That Counts, my young adult novel, and that was in 2015.
So do you self-publish now?
Yes, I self-publish everything. My Teenage Death Trap book, my writers group really wants me to try and traditionally publish. They really think it's that good. It's really big, and it's a big horror novel, so we'll see. But I don't know. I really love being a control freak, and just I love my cover artist. I love my editor. And especially since I worked on this particular book for so long, for like 5 years, I'd be a little nervous to let someone else, touch it, I guess. So
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to add? We have a few minutes left.
I did want to add, I'm dyslexic, and I used to kind of keep that almost like a secret, but I found the further I go on my author career, the more people I meet that are dyslexic or have learning disabilities, and might think that being an author is just something that can never happen. And it totally can. Even now, there are formatting tools that you can use that can make the font easier for dyslexics to read, which is something that I would have never thought of when I was a teenager. So I did just want to come out here and be like, if you have a learning disability like dyslexia, I mean, that's the only one I can speak to personally, but there's stuff that can be done. If you really have a dream, you can achieve it. It's all about working at it. Unfortunately, you have to work almost twice as hard. And I will say, make sure you get an editor that's kind, because she said you weren't just dyslexic in the way you would spell, it would be the way you would structure a sentence. So especially with my first book, she really had to take me aside and be like, we have to talk about sentence structure because you switch it almost every single time. And she's like, I only have so many hours in the day to fix this. So yeah.
Oh my
God. And she's like, your pocketbooks aren't that big either. So let's figure this out together.
No.
Yeah.
Same. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You were an awesome guest. Appreciate you. And to learn more about Melissa Algood, you can head over to her website, www.melissaalgood.com. That's www.melissaalgood.com. She's on all the things. Which social medias are you on, Melissa?
I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, all as Mel Algood Author. So MELALGOOD Author.
Awesome. So make sure to check her out. You can check her out on all three of those, and you can see what she's got going on. If you're on any different shows and stuff, I'm sure you post those on there. You can find her there. She said she was at 42
conventions last year.
I did about 40. No, it wasn't all conventions, but it was a lot of pop-ups. It was a lot of events last year. So I'll definitely be at several libraries in 2026, and I'll definitely be at Houston Comic Palooza, Eastern Rim Comic Con in Baytown, and NerdCon in Eagle Crest. Yes.
Awesome.
So next week, though, as I said, this is pre-recorded, but next week, according to our schedule, we will have our 1 hour party
time.
So it will be live. So make sure to show up next week. We'll have our 1 hour party. So bring your popcorn, bring your sodas, make sure to show up. We'll be having lots of fun for a whole hour. You get to enjoy the Giggle Squad. So make sure to show up. We'll have tons and tons of fun. So get your wands ready because Mommy's going to.
And this weekend, I will be guesting at Retro Palooza. So this is my first time going to that one. So you guys definitely come say hi to me there. I will have a table. Yes. And I may or may not have a panel. I haven't heard you back yet, but I'm offering one. So we'll see. And make sure that y'all smash that thumbs up real quick and share this out so everybody can check out the awesome books. I want to get into the Mr. and Mrs. Smith ones, okay? I want to see Quentin Tarantino directed Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I'm ready for that.
Yes, I love Tarantino.
I'm kind of crazy for the Stranger Things ones, but that's me. I'm a Stranger Things.
Well, that makes sense. And make sure that you're following CJ Peterson, Mommy Rilla, and of course, Yukita Cosplay on all the things. We got YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Well, okay. Yukita doesn't have Facebook anymore, but
I'm limited edition.
All right, and until next time, guys. Mischief managed. Bye.